Julian, my boy, sorry to disappoint you. I know you don't like my head shaved, but I left some on the sides just for you. So it's not all bad. Hope you like it. This is called the tonsure cut. This is the way Christian monks cut their hair in the medieval ages. Medieval sounds evil, but I think it means middle. I think it just means middle ages, because it's the ages between the old ages and the new ages, which is right now, I guess. Anyway, the reason I'm making this video is because I was thinking some more about why it makes you uncomfortable when your dad cries. That mystery's been bugging me, and why it made me uncomfortable to see my dad cry. So here's one theory I came up with. Crying's what babies do because babies are helpless. So they don't have words, and they can't help themselves. So they can't even use words to ask for help. So all they can do is cry. So when you see your dad cry, it's a very uncomfortable feeling because you don't like the idea that your dad is helpless. That's a scary realization, that your dad can be helpless over something. You want to think, well, no, my dad's in control. If there's anything if I need help and there's anything that needs to be taken care of, my dad's always been able to take care of it. I don't want to know that there's something he can't change. Well, sorry to shock you with that realization, boy, but you're 7, you're old enough to know, and you're old enough to understand that there are so many things that I have no control over and that I can't change. There's way more things that I have no control over and that I can't change than there are things I can change. It's almost infinite what I can't change. And there's just this tiny sliver, just this small little slice of the universe. So small, so small, that I have control over. And lucky you, your life has been lived within that tiny slice. We're all so little, we can even fit into something so little. And we have been, your mom and I, able to control everything that we need to control to keep you safe, to keep you happy, to keep you healthy, to make sure you have fun, to make sure you're learning, and to even give you things you want that you don't need, but that you just want. And we're going to continue to be able to do that, of course. But yeah, there are things I can't change. Like the past is one of them. That's a big one. No one can change the past. But now that I say that, in a way you can change the past, because the past isn't something that exists by itself. The past is connected to the present. And the past is connected to the future through the present. And the past and the future and the present all are one big picture. And they're also one big machine with a lot of moving parts that all interact together to create everything. And while we can't change the parts that are fixed in the past, we can change how they relate to the parts that are moving in the present and the parts we're building and setting off to move in the future. And when we do that, the past fits into the future in a different way. The past fits into the total machine that is everything in a different way and moves it in a different way. So the past isn't just something that exists on its own. It's a part of a greater whole, and it means different things. And it actually does different things based on how it's connected with the rest of the machine that's still being built. So that was a fun side journey about time. But there's still all kinds of things I can't control, and there are all kinds of things I can control, and those things make me cry too. So it's not just helplessness, but that's not the only reason someone might cry. That is a reason babies cry, and so that was a theory. But now that I'm thinking of it, there's YouTube videos I've seen of very small babies watching, just looking at their moms, just gazing with rapt attention and listening to their moms sing, and the baby's lip starts to quiver and it starts to cry because the singing is so beautiful. It moves the baby, and that baby's not Maybe it is a kind of helplessness. There's a sort of helplessness before beauty. Maybe that's exactly what it's tapping into, is that helplessness. Even when you cry because, like, happy tears, in a way you're helpless before that beauty. It's something just so big. It just makes you feel so small next to it, like a baby. And you're helpless, and the tears flow. And all of this is good, and all of this is the way it's supposed to be, and all of this is okay. And I worry about you, son, because I don't like it when I see you get uncomfortable that I'm crying, and then start to yell at me and kind of attack me because that discomfort is more than you can bear. It's not. Don't be afraid. Let yourself feel your feelings. Never shove your feelings down, and never mask them over with fake feelings. Fake anger is one of the most dangerous forces on earth. There is real anger, and even that's dangerous. But fake anger is very dangerous. And you've got to have your head screwed on real straight to know the difference between the two, and to be able to control real anger. And I think pretty much the only purpose of real anger is to spur you into action, but you've got to let go of it as soon as it wakes you up. You can't let it keep moving you. That's not a demon you want riding you for very long, because it gets out of control very quick, like a fire. Once your anger spurs you awake at something that's truly wrong, at something that you feel, that you know in your stomach, in your gut is wrong, bullying, someone picking on someone they shouldn't, something like that, it makes you angry. But the problem with anger is it's very, very blind. It only has one eye, and that one eye has a very, very narrow view, and it has usually one solution, and that's to punch. And usually that's not the best solution. So once you wake up, you gotta use your wits, not your fists. Your wits are being smart, and instead of seeing only a little bit like you see when you're angry, which blinds you, seeing more than anyone around you sees, and being clever. A lot of times being witty involves being patient. Being witty involves timing and having a time consciousness. and knowing how time unfolds. If some of this doesn't make sense to you now, that's fine. I think you're probably going to absorb a lot of good things from this, and you can watch it again anytime you want because it's saved now in your email. And maybe in a year you'll understand more if you watch it. Or in 5 years, or in 10, or whenever you watch it, you will understand more. So I'm glad I'm sharing this with you. But one other thing I wanted to say was I'm really worried when you get angry, when I cry, because I think it's very clear to me, anyway, it looks like it makes you uncomfortable, and then you switch out of your real uncomfortable feelings into fake angry feelings. It worries me because I think this is what I've been doing to myself for most of my life, a lot of times, because I'm uncomfortable with my own tears, my own crying, my own helplessness. And when that happened, I was bullying myself, and I was pushing down this child that lives in me, this helpless baby. And instead of holding that baby and comforting it, I was ignoring it and saying, no, there's no baby there. I'm just mad. And that baby's real. And it does not like being ignored. And it does not like being ignored for an anger demon. And if you do it enough, that baby will turn into a little anger demon. And it'll grow and it'll grow and it'll grow. And sometime it might get big enough that it's not helpless anymore, but it's still angry, very angry at you for pushing it down and ignoring it. There are many parts of you, Julian. You might feel like you're one thing, but you're not. You're many, many, many things. You're the end result of like 500 million years of evolution, okay? You're not really 7 years old. You're the 7-year-old tip of 500 million year old wave moving through the earth, moving through everything the earth's made of and transforming it into something that has order and reason and beauty to it and usefulness to it. You're like 500 million years old. You are a container for 500 million years of experiences along the path, the evolutionary path that got us to where we are versus where like a frog is or a spider is or a fish is. And ours, of course, is the most interesting, right? We would say that since we're us, but we're the only ones who can say that about ourselves. So it's the most interesting. And it's 500 million years old. And there are so many things in that deep well that is you. And the sooner you become aware of this, and the sooner you gather all your beasts and get them all, make sure they're all happy and they're all healthy and they're all taken care of and they're all working together, then the sooner you'll be exactly what you're supposed to be and not just a wild stampede that makes a mess of everything around you. So please be gentle to yourself and be gentle to me whenever you feel helpless or you see that I feel helpless at something. When you see me cry, which you're going to see more of, be gentle. Be like a mother with her baby. Be that way toward yourself. It's okay to be that way. It's good to be that way. There is a mother that lives in you. She's your mother. She's everything you know about mothers from your own mother. And she lives in you. Her personality It's part of you, and it will be forever. It's okay to cry. It's okay. I love you, Julian.